Hi everyone. This video we're doing Exponents Mind Action Series Grade 10. We again in exercise 3, so this is video part 2. We are going to do questions F through J. And this is Mrs. Venti speaking. Alright, let's get started. Question F gives us 28 to the power of x multiplied by 14 to the power of x minus 1 divided by 49x minus 1 and 8x plus 1. So again, first thing we want to do is we want to deal with these constants that we actually want to have as common factors. We want them to, we're looking for the same base, right? Because the rules for exponents means we have to have the same base. So let's do the factors of 28, which is going to be 2 times 2 or 4 multiplied by 7. So 28 factorizes as 2 squared times 7, and I keep my exponent x multiplied by the factors of 14, which is 2 times 7, and I keep my exponents x minus 1 over factors of 49 is going to be 7 squared, and I keep my exponents x minus 1, and the factors of 8 is going to be 2 cubed, and I keep my exponents x plus 1. So step 1 was taking my bases and breaking them down into common bases. Step 2 is going to be to multiply this exponent with each one of those bases. So this is going to be equal to 2 to the power of 2 times x is 2x. Then I'm going to have 7 multiplied by 7 to the power of x. Then I'm going to have multiplied by 2 to the exponent, that one, x minus 1 on the 2, and 7 with the exponent x minus 1. So make sure that this goes to both and it goes to both. Same thing at the bottom. So at the bottom I have a monomial times a binomial, so I'm going to multiply this in and that in. So let's do our fraction line. Got a base of 7, and my exponents are going to become 2x minus 2 multiplied by 2, and my exponents becomes 3x plus 3. Now that I've got my bases right and all of my bases have their own exponents, I can deal with the same base and the exponents. So my first base is going to be 2. And I am going to start with 2x. That's that one. And since I'm multiplying, I'm going to add plus that one, x minus 1. Those are all the numerators. Then I am going to divide, which means that I subtract whatever follows. And what I'm going to subtract is this one, which I'm putting in bracket 3x plus 3. Then I'm going to multiply it by my next base, which is 7. And I am going to look at my exponents. I start with x. Since I'm multiplying, I'm going to add x plus 1. And then I am dividing, so I'm going to subtract. What I'm subtracting is this one, which is 2x minus 2. And that is all of them. So I've got 3 on the 2's, 1, 2, 3, and 3 on the 7's, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that I've done that, I want to simplify. So I've got 2. Before I can simplify, I need to get rid of my brackets in the exponent. So if I multiply this minus in there, my bracket falls away. It becomes minus 3x. If I multiply my bracket, my negative to the second term, that plus becomes a minus, and my bracket goes away. Same thing over here. Multiply minus in there. So then minus 2x. Multiply the minus in there. Becomes plus 2. And no more brackets. Now I can look at like terms. So I have 2x plus x gives me 3x. 3x minus 3x gives me 0, so all my x's are gone. Over here, I've got minus 1 minus 3 gives me minus 4. I'm adding them. Multiplied by 7, and then I'm going to go again and see how can I simplify. X plus x is 2x. 2x minus 2x is 0. So these cancel out. I've got nothing there. And then I am looking at 1 plus 2 is 3. So if I write it with positive exponents, I'm going to have 7 to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of 4, which is equal to 343 over 16. So if I 343 divided by 16, that is as simple as it gets. There you go. Or let's see. Yeah, that's as simple as it gets. So that'll be your final answer. Obviously, it's an improper fraction, but we're not looking at that. We were dealing with exponents. So that's question F. Question G. We're going to do the same thing that we did with F. We're going to start with our bases, and we want our bases to be the same or to have similar bases. So we're going to break them down into their factors. Now, the factors for 27 is 3. Am I in yellow? No, I want to be in yellow. Okay, so it's going to be 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. And I keep my m there. Since it's just one term times one term, I'm not going to bother with brackets or anything. All right, so our next one is going to be 2 to the power of m plus 2. We're going to keep that. It's as simple as it gets. My factors for 18 is going to be 2 times, remember it's 2 times 9, and the factors of 9 is 3 and 3. So it's 2 times 3 squared. And that one we are actually going to put in brackets and raise it to the power of m minus 1, because we got 2 terms in the brackets and 2 terms on the exponents. So let's just multiply it out properly. And our last one is going to be 3m plus 1. So technically, if I was going to put this in the bracket, right, let's do that here. It would end up becoming 2m minus 1, 2 to the power of m minus 1 multiplied by 3 to the power of 2m minus 2, because I multiplied in. I hope that made sense. Shout out if you didn't get that. Okay, so now that I have simplified, every one of my bases are one of 2 common bases, and every base has got its own exponents. No brackets on the exponents. I'm good to go. So I'm going to work with my same base. Let's start with 2, because it comes before 3. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that one, which says m plus 2. I got no more numerators. So now I'm going to divide, which means I'm going to subtract everything that follows. And what follows is this one. So that becomes m minus 1. Those are all of the 2's. So I move on to the 3's times 3. And on my 3's, I start with that one, 3m. No more numerators. So I am dividing, which means I'm going to subtract. And I'm going to subtract this one and that one. So I got brackets for the first one and subtract brackets for the second one. So my first one that I'm subtracting is 2m minus 2, and my second one is m plus 1. 2m minus 2. Okay, so now that I've done that, I am going to simplify, right? So I want to multiply. Let's change the sign and multiply this in there. So that becomes minus m. I multiply this in there, it becomes plus 1, which means that all my signs and the bracket fades away. Multiply this in there, it becomes minus 2m, and I multiply it in there, it becomes plus 2. I multiply this in there, it becomes minus m. I multiply it over there, it becomes minus 1. So now that I've changed all my signs, notice now I take the minus on the outside away. Now I can add like terms. So this is equal to 2. Let's do the 2. Positive m minus m gives me 0. So those cancel out. And then I am looking at 2 plus 1, 3. I've got 2 to the power of 3. Multiplied by 3 as a base. And then I say 3m minus 2m is 1. Minus m is 0. So all my m's cancel out because that becomes 0. And I've got 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 to the power of 1. All right, let's simplify. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 to the power of 1 is 3. 8 times 3 is 24. That's my final answer to this question. Question 8. We have 9, 33, 3 times 3, and 99. So, what do we see? We can make these bases of 3 and 11, right? So, let's start with the first one. 9 becomes 3 times 3. That's 3 squared. And then we keep our exponents a plus 2 in brackets. Multiply that by 33 becomes 3 times 11. And we keep our exponents a minus 1 over 3 we keep, 3a we keep, and then 99 ends up being 3 squared, which is 9, times 11. And we keep the exponents a plus 1. So in our next step, we are going to write that out, making sure that everybody has their own exponents. So the first one is going to be 3 to the power of, we're going to multiply that in 2a plus 4. Multiplied by 3 to the power of a minus 1. Multiplied by 11 to the power of a minus 1. That's my numerator. All of that over 3 to the power of 1 times 3 to the power of a times 3 to the power of this 2 times that. So it's times the first one and the second one. 2a plus 2 multiplied by 11 with the exponents a plus 1. So this here is just making sure that every base has its own exponents. Once I've got that, I can deal with my same bases. So now I can say my first base is going to be 3. Let's do 3. Let's start there. We say 2a plus 4. I am multiplying, so I add a minus 1, and that's all my numerators. Then because I am dividing, I am going to do this one, that one, and that one as minuses. So minus, the first one we're going to subtract is going to be the 1, so minus 1. And then minus this a, and then minus 2a plus 2. So 2a plus 2 in brackets. That is the 3's. All the 3's are counted for. Now we're going to do times 11. And our 11 is going to be a minus 1. That's all the numerators. I'm going to the denominator now. So I am going to subtract, and I'm going to subtract this one, which is going to be in brackets a plus 1. The next step that I'm going to take is I am going to get rid of my brackets. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply the minus sign in. So minus times plus here becomes minus, and minus times plus here becomes minus. I take away my brackets. Minus times plus here becomes minus, and minus times plus here becomes minus, and I take away my brackets. Next step, let's simplify our exponents. So what have we got? We've got 2a plus a is 3a. 3a, that's positive. Oh, we can do it this way. Plus a minus a gives me 0. 2a minus 2a gives me 0. So all my a's are gone. What am I left with? 4 minus 1 is 3. Minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 3 to the power of 1 is what's left. Multiplied by 11. What do I have on the 11? I am going to say a minus a gives me 0. And then I'm going to say minus 1 is minus 2. So if I write this as having no negative exponents, I have got 3 over 11 squared. Now 11 times 11 is equal to, hold on, 121. So my answer is going to be 3 over 121 as my final answer. Okay. All right, question I, we've got 75, 45, 25, 15, and 3. So automatically I'm thinking 5s and 3s. Okay, so let's start with the factors of 75, and that's going to be 3 times 5 squared. 3 times 25, 3 times 5 squared. Those are the factors of 75. Exponent minus n plus 3. Okay, multiplied by the factors of 45, which is going to be 3 squared times 5. 9 times 5 is 45, and your exponents there are going to be n minus 2. Over factors of 25 is going to be 5 squared. Multiply that by the exponent minus n times, now 15 is going to be 3 times 5, both of them to the power of 1, and then my exponent n plus 3, I keep that one, and lastly 3 to the power of 1, I don't do anything there. Okay, so now that we factorize the bases, we are going to make sure that every base has the correct exponents. So our next line is going to be 3, and the exponent there is going to be that, which is minus n plus 3. Then we're going to multiply it by 5, and now I need to multiply this 2 with each of those. So it's going to be minus 2n plus 6. Then we multiply it by 3, and the exponents here, I need to multiply that by that. So it becomes 2n minus 2. No, 2 times 2 is 4, so it's 2n minus 4. And the last in the numerator is 5, and I multiply, the exponent is going to be n minus 2. Then I draw my fraction line. My denominator ends up being 5. My exponent is going to be minus 2n. So I multiplied those out. Multiplied by 3 with the exponents n plus 3 over here. Multiplied by 5 with the exponents n plus 3. Multiplied by 3 with the exponent 1, which is implied. Now that everybody has got their own exponents and we have got the same bases, we can move on and simplify. So now this becomes a base of 3. Let's start with this, minus n plus 3. Then I'm multiplying, which means I add that, 2n plus 4. Then I divide, which means I'm going to subtract. I'm going to subtract that. So it becomes in brackets n plus 3 that I'm subtracting. And I'm still dividing, so I'm going to subtract that, which is minus 1. That is all of the 3's. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 3's are accounted for. Now I'm going to move on to the base of 5. And I am going to say, let's do that one, minus 2n plus 6. Now because I'm multiplying, I'm going to add n minus 2. Then I am going to divide, which means I'm going to subtract. And I'm subtracting that, which is minus 2n. And I am also going to subtract that one as a denominator. So I'm going to say minus n plus 3. Awesome. Now I need to simplify my exponents to get rid of the brackets. So I'm multiplying the minus sign in, which means that minus in there, it becomes minus n, minus times that, plus becomes minus, and my brackets are gone. Same thing over here, minus times minus 2 becomes plus, so that becomes plus minus 2n, minus in there becomes minus, minus in there becomes minus, and that is simplified. All of the exponents have got the right signs. Now let's add our exponents. I've got a base of 3. Let's see, minus n plus 2n. 2 minus 1 is 1n. 1n minus n is going to be 0. So all my n's cancel out into 0. Okay, let's do our numbers. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. Or I can just take that one and that one cancels out. Then I have 4 minus 1 is 3. So I have 3 to the power of 3 as the 3 simplified. Let's do 5. So on the 5, I've got minus n plus n gives me minus 1. Or I can say minus 2n plus 2n give me 0, right? Those two cancel out, give me 0. And then plus n minus n give me 0. So all my n's are gone. Now let's have a look at my numbers. I've got 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I've got 5 to the power of 1 as my answer. Now let's simplify it further. 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 27. Multiplied by 5 to the power of 1 is just 5. 27 times 5 is 135 as my final answer. All right, last question in this segment. 1 over 8 is my first one. Then I've got 4 and 2. So automatically I know that my base is going to be 2. So before I do this, let's say if we simplify 8, 8 is equal to 2 to the power of 3. So technically I have 2 to the power of 3 here. And if I want to write it as a numerator without a fraction, I'm going to write it as 2 to the power of negative 3. I hope that made sense. So let's just keep that 8 over there. And my exponent here is going to be x plus 1. That's my numerator. My denominator is going to be 4 is 2 squared. And then I keep my minus x minus 3 and multiplied by 2, 1 minus x. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Next up, I'm going to multiply my exponents so that there are no brackets. So my next line is going to be 2 with the power of minus 3x minus 3 over 2 with the exponent minus 2x minus 6 multiplied by 2, 1 minus x. Okay, So now I've got the same base. My base is 2, and I'm going to deal with my exponents. So on the top, I have minus 3x minus 3. Then I am going to subtract, which means at the bottom I have brackets. My first bracket is going to be this one, minus 2x minus 6. And I'm going to subtract my second bracket, which is going to be this one, 1 minus x. My next step is to get rid of my brackets. So minus times minus becomes plus, and minus times minus becomes plus, and my brackets are gone. Minus times plus becomes minus, and minus times minus becomes plus, and my brackets are gone. Now I can add like terms. So this is going to be equal to 2, and my exponents are going to be minus 3 plus 2 gives me minus 1, minus 1 plus 1 gives me 0. Or look at it this way, 2 plus 1 is 3. I've got plus 3 and minus 3, and that gives me 0. So all my x's are gone. Now I'm going to look at my numbers. Minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4, plus 6. 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. My answer is 2 squared, which is equal to 4, and that's my final answer. So I hope this made sense to you. That's the end of this portion of this exercise. I wish you all the best. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And yeah, send me any questions that you have. Bye-bye.